it's your buddy Peace and Harmony with you here today. We are diving back in depth, and this is section 2 of our video on trying to understand and comprehend and process treatment of a narcissist, particularly a narcissist who has engaged in triangulation and splitting, someone who is trying to play another person, a pawn, a moving part, a figure, an obstacle, a decoy, basically in your relationship, in your family, in your work environment, to try to get you to feel afraid, fearful, scared, manipulated, and under control. Really feeling like they're the ones who have the right viewpoint, the right perspective, the right angle, and to furthermore basically surrender, give it all up to that person because they are the narcissist. They are the person who is the know-it-all, who has all the information, who shines brighter, who has really the only thing to say. It needs to be listened to the way that they want to be listened to. And they're not very open to a challenge, discussion, or really getting to know people. And so really, how do you process this? How do you not only understand, but how do you work through it, incorporate it, and process it into your healing? Well, for one, realize that the narcissist really does not have a reality-tested ego. In other words, they have a lot of projection of a mask, a persona, a facade, if you will, who they want to be and become, and they act from this superior, haughty, arrogant side of themselves. And they have a tough time really getting real. And when it comes to getting real, they are not apt to have a lot of emotional connection with other people. They almost seem superhuman. They almost seem like, they're not going to ever relate to you on some of the basic nice things like, I get what you're saying, I understand that, or are you kidding me, telling me more? You're not going to hear a lot of this connection, but as we're saying in the previous video, is that oftentimes people get trauma bonded or connected with these individuals because they want to emulate, because they look up to this person. And this person finds that if they act, with this facade, that they get a lot of attention. So it's like the bully who's able to beat people up, and throw their weight around and push people down. Other people are going to look to them for guidance because, well, here's a guy who just beat people up. That guy is pretty powerful. And so they're going to kind of like, identify with the abuser and identify, seeing that this person, I want to emulate this big tough guy, or this pretty girl, I want to emulate and be like them. And so these people tend to look up to the narcissist for oftentimes these qualities, but yet coupled with a lack of empathy, which means they really don't understand your needs, feelings, wishes, and desires. It doesn't really compute as really super important to them. And if they do, they tend to just use it against you. And also have a very sardonic, sarcastic sense of humor, which oftentimes, makes you, feel like that they're very harshly judgmental. And so then the injurious thing, though, is that you tend to then internalize their judgment. And you're wondering, like, you have to, it's like if you can't beat them, join them sort of philosophy. And then so you begin by osmosis or just being around them, you begin to adapt their criticism, their judgment. And you're like, I don't really feel this way. Like, this isn't really me, but maybe I should do this just to fit in, or this is what's cool. And, maybe it's not so cool to be judging, to be haughty, to be arrogant, to be, superior than, and to hurt others and, say names onto people, and things like that. It's not maybe how you feel. It's how the narcissist is, though. They're very judgmental, very haughty and arrogant when it comes to, how they want to fit into, especially a group dynamic. And so that's why we're going to see things like the triangulation. You're going to see how they move people into the environment as a pawn, and maybe, talk. And they literally will put people in front of you and begin to talk to them and, show what a great person they are, or, pat on the back, or do these different things. And, just try to make you feel jealous, seething with anger, or why don't you treat me that way? And then you have this whole, discussion. See, it's a narcissist tactic. They use this as an emotional manipulative tool. And then coupled with the pathological lying, they're going to tell you that they didn't do this. And, it becomes just really a big game. And, it becomes a game where someone's going to get hurt. So as they say, it's always fun until somebody gets hurt. Well, maybe it's not so fun, and maybe you don't want to get hurt. Maybe this is not in the name of love. Maybe this relationship is not in your best interest. So the triangulation and the splitting involves when, they then talk about you behind your back, and then they're different to your face. So that's not a good friend. That's someone who you can't trust. And it's not good to be around these types of people, because if that's how they work in social circles, eventually you're not going to be empowered. You're not going to be in your I am. You're not going to be in your best interest. You're going to be, constantly paranoid and thinking about this other individual. What are they doing, saying about you? What are they telling others? How are you going to control for this? How do you have to be fake in reaction? I mean, it just creates a whole chain reaction. So I would definitely recommend, if you have been really caught up into this downward spiral of connecting, or trying to connect with narcissist type individuals who are playing these games, just opt out. Push the button, opt out. I'm no longer playing this game, and I'm pushing the button of ease, where I'm letting it go, and I'm beginning to really get to know myself and be on my own, and begin to respect and honor myself, and look up and validate myself, look up to and admire myself for being strong, and keep those energetic boundaries in place, intact, especially when it comes to, meeting new people. Get yourself really a filter, so that you can begin to really realize that how important it is to relate to people who don't engage in pathological lying, splitting and triangulating, and using that facade technique where they blow themselves out, everybody else underneath, and they don't lack empathy. Perhaps reevaluate yourself and who you want in your life, and you might want to put at the priority somebody who has empathy, and someone who has respect, and someone who you can trust, and you can trust yourself around, and it's easier for you to keep your energetic boundaries intact. It's peace and harmony with you here today. I hope these videos do help. Please share and please subscribe for more great tools, videos, discussion, and support.